Yo guys, what's going on? Acez is here today with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a very basic feature and a very basic setting here in Escape from Tarkov that you should be taking advantage of, especially when you're playing on Streets of Tarkov, since it's probably the hardest map for any of our PCs to run right now when it comes to just general playing. When you add a scope on top of it with a little bit of double rendering, it makes things even worse. So the setting we're talking about is going to be the FPS counter. We're going to be enabling it, and I'm going to tell you from personal experience why I would recommend turning it on every single time you're loading into a raid, not just on Streets of Tarkov, every single map, because there are certain maps in certain spots that it's just not optimized, and having your FPS on is going to allow you to know if it's an in-game problem or if it's a personal computer problem, whether that's your hardware or you might have an extra app open, whatever the case may be. Having your frames on at all times is going to help you out in the long run. Do me a favor, make sure you're dropping a like, make sure you're subscribing. Let's head into Streets and let's talk about our FPS. All right, so we're on Streets, and I know you guys watching are limited to 60 frames. That is what you're limited to here on YouTube. But we're on Streets, we're in an offline raid with no scavs on. So when you're in an offline raid and there's no scavs spawning at all, your FPS is going to be at the top of the top. It's going to be max performance because, one, you're on a LAN, and two, there's no other entities on the map. It is just you. So we are on Streets, and honestly, just by kind of looking around like this, I'd say I'm getting probably 90 frames, to be completely honest with you. 80 to 90 in this offline mode, and then if we scope in, I'd say I'm probably getting, I'd say 60, 65. So we're going to turn our FPS on. And to do that, you have to press the tilde key. That is the key to the left of the number 1 on your keyboard. And that's your top row numbers, not on the right if you have an extended keyboard. So by hitting that, you're going to see your command prompt, which is right here. You're going to type in FPS 1. You're going to hit enter. And then up in the top right, you're going to see your FPS. So right now, it looks like I'm getting about 70, 75. Let's see. Let's look at the ground. Actually, a little bit better. That's surprising. Obviously, you look at the sky, you're going to bump that frame rate up. So just looking around a little bit, we're averaging about 77, 78. It's honestly a little better than I thought. Let's try scoped in. Scoped in, I'm getting 50. So a little lower than I thought. Online, just for full transparency, I get about 40 frames when I'm scoped in. So the double rendering absolutely kills you on Streets, unfortunately. And having the FPS on really lets you know what combat you can engage in, especially on a very FPS heavy map like Streets of Tarkov. So I'm going to give you an example. I know we're in an offline raid, but if you are in your scope, and even if you are in, let's see what it's like here. Yeah, so it's still coming in at 50. So if you're using a low recoil, fully automatic weapon, and you are scoped in, even on a very low magnification on a scope, when you are walking and aiming and, you know, whatever movements you're making on a lower frame rate, it's going to heavily impact your combat experience. So if we're just on the PKO6, you know, when I'm strafing and shooting and doing all these movements, it's going to be a lot cleaner of a gunfight. Your PC is just going to be working great. But when you're in a scope on a low mag, it's going to impact your gameplay. You're going to have stutters. You're going to have what feels like a little bit of lag, a little bit of latency. And when that happens, you lose gunfights. And this happened to me not only on Streets already, because I was shooting at a sniper scav, and I got the kill eventually, but it took me a few extra shots because I'm on 40 frames a second. I'm trying to take the sniper scav out, not be in the middle of the street. And on Interchange, there's parts of the map that are very unoptimized. And when you start stuttering and skipping all around the map, if you don't have your FPS counter on, you might open Task Manager and see what's going on there. Anything that is distracting you for longer than it should is going to be at a detriment to you when it comes to surviving an escape from Tarkov. Anything can happen at any moment. Killer could power slide on you, a scav could come up, PMC could be creep walking. Literally, if I even send a text, sometimes a PMC comes right up to me creep walking and shoots me in the face. It's how it is. If you're distracted while playing, you could easily die. So having the FPS counter up in the top right of your screen, if you're getting any stutters just while running around any map, not just Streets, if you get any stutters, it's as simple as looking up at the top right corner. If you see your frames drop for a second, it's like, okay, this is an unoptimized part of the map, or some scavs just spawn. FPS drops happen when scavs spawn all over the map. Frequently happens on factory. You know, there's always some sort of variable, and if you know it's your PC and not another variable, it takes the reaction out of it, it takes the distraction out of it, and hopefully helps you survive longer in Tarkov. So this might seem like a meaningless video to some, but having the FPS counter on is such a big help for my gameplay experience, and I have over 2,500 hours in Escape from Tarkov. If it helps me, I'm sure it's going to help some of you guys. So like I said, it's the tilde key. It's the key to the left of the 1 on your keyboard, and having your command center, you just type in FPS 1, hit enter, and then it brings the FPS counter up. This goes away every single time you close Escape from Tarkov, so you have to re-enable it every single time that you reload up the game, but it will remain on the entire time while you are gaming in your session. And if you wanted to turn that FPS counter off, all you have to do is go back into your commands, type FPS 0, and it will disappear for you. Guys, FPS counter, huge help for me personally. Hopefully you guys try it out. Let me know how you feel having the FPS counter on. I've been using it ever since my NVIDIA Reflex just stopped working with the graphics update Escape from Tarkov pushed out in like the first week of wipe. So it's been great having it, and I've been using it every single time on the game. Leave a like, subscribe, let me know what you think about it. Drop it in the comments. See you in the next one. I'm out.